Hello everyone and welcome to this week's Meet the Employer. I'm Rosa Bay, your host. Today we have got OSTC with us. I'm going to tell you a little bit about OSTC in a little while and introduce our panel. But first of all, I just want to welcome you all here again today. Our Meet the Employer is part of our webinar series that we do record and place on the Hive. So we do this to support those who are not able to join us today. So I'd also like to welcome our captions and our BSL ladies today. So thank you very much for joining us. Your support is always very helpful to us here at Evenbreak. Just a couple of things before we get started. There will be the option at the end of this session, which can take up to about 30 to 40 minutes, where we will explore various things with regards to the world of work. You have an option to really to get involved here and be interactive. So we have a chat box that allows you to have conversations if you want to do so. But we will also have the formal Q&A at the very end of the session. So please do ask those all important questions to our panel today. So what I wanted to do is just check and make sure the captions are all on and we're all good to go. Fantastic. So what I would like to do is to introduce you to OSTC. So in just over 15 years, OSTC has become one of the leading trading companies globally. Their success is focused on hiring and developing talented people and helping them to perform at their maximum and fulfill their potential. So I want to welcome Fayaz, Sam and Carolina here today. Thank you all so much for joining us. I thought what we could do is if you would all like to just introduce yourselves, what your role is and why it's important for you to be here today. So shall we start with Fayaz?
Yeah, hello. Hi, thanks, Rosa. My name is Faiza Tahir and I'm the head of diversity and talent development at OSTC. I've been with the company for just shy of 2 years now, and we've really ramped up our focus and involvement in the space of D&I, making sure that we adapt our approach, our procedures to accommodate and include people from all walks of life. And we continue to sort of work with Evenbreak and other, organizations that are experts to continue to shape and drive that particular focus for us. So I'm really excited to be here and look forward to some of the Q&A sessions later.
Fantastic, thank you. Sam, you're up next. Can you tell us a little bit about who you are, what your role is and why it's important for you to be here today?
Of course, I'd love to. Thank you very much, Rosa. Hi, my name is Sam Baker. I'm the head of DWI here at OSTC, and DWI stands for Digital Workforce Initiative. So they are our workforce who operate from the comfort of their own home. It was a move we were forced into due to the pandemic, but now we're thriving. With the help of Pfizer and Carolina, we're going into new avenues to find talent that we can then train with my team and coach and develop and become successful traders. So I work in the markets department of OSTC, which is our kind of main driver of the company, where we take on young individuals or any individual really we can find that will hopefully bring their drive and desire to succeed as a trader or an analyst at OSTC. So I'm here to, uncover more talent really. We truly believe that anyone anywhere can learn to trade. And the difference is for success is the drive and the motivation to get there. But we know we can train anyone to do that. So we're trying to find those that are driven enough to succeed at what we do.
Well, Sam, you've sold me because I think I would like you to show me how to trade. So that's really interesting that you say that, because it suggests that the door is open really for anyone if you feel that you can give them the skills that is needed to be able to trade. So we might explore that a little later. Carolina, welcome. Can you please explain your role, give us your role title and why it's important for you to be here today?
Hi, Rosa. Thank you very much. My name's Carolina. Really pleased to be here today and to share more about our business and how we recruit. I am talent acquisition manager at OSTC. I do take care of all aspects, recruitment aspects, selection aspects, shortlisting aspects around the globe, focusing on UK, India, Poland, but also supporting Russia and China. I've been at OSTC for over 3.5 years. In terms of our approach, not only to recruitment, but to anything that we do, adding to what Sam has already said, to our vision that is future where anyone anywhere can learn to trade, of course assuming these people, these candidates, this individual bring the skills that we're looking for. We share same values, and we make sure that when recruiting, we also make sure that these values are shared and mentioned to people. And 3 of them are called shared opportunity, collective excellence, and resilient spirit. Resilience is something extremely important in current times, but it's been important for always, but now is even more visible than ever. Collective excellence means that we do everything we do as a collective effort. It's never individual. It's always about sharing, supporting each other. And shared opportunity means that opportunity is the lifeblood of our business. We find opportunities, we make sure to use these opportunities to make sure we are successful, and we share that success with everyone at OSTC.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for sharing those values. It's so important, isn't it? Because we often say to our candidates, when you are applying for jobs, it's really important that it lines up or it stacks up with your own values. And I can certainly safely say that probably all of our candidates have got such resilience because they've got to, especially when they are searching and looking for jobs. The world of work and job search can be overwhelming and very daunting anyway, can't it? So thank you very much for sharing those with me. We're going to get started. So I've got to pick someone out. So Faiza, you're first, you're up. I'm going to ask you the all important question: why is hiring disabled candidates important to OSTC?
Well, it's as much a moral imperative as it is a business imperative for us, really. Here at OSTC, we have that continuous global ambition to find and grow talent wherever they may be and whoever they are, irrespective of their race, their disability, gender, sexual orientation, you name it. For us, it's about really scaling our business up, and that requires recruiting and retaining the right people. Not having the talent to be able to trade or to be, to be taught to trade successfully, it's just like any other human being, any human ability. It's not really exclusive to non-disabled individuals. From a trading perspective, some of the skills, that you need or behaviors that you need require things like numeracy, adaptability, resilience, like Carolina mentioned, which you can find in all kinds of diverse groups of people from anywhere. So, what we're doing here is really ensuring that we widen our talent pool and make it as inclusive as possible, to give us that opportunity to find the best talent that's out there. And whether they be disabled or non-disabled is not really the requirement for the job. What matters is whether they can actually effectively do the job. So that's why we're here.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. Carolina, are you ready?
Yes.
So I would love if you could explain to our Evenbreak candidates and job seekers a little bit more around the types of roles that you have and what you're currently recruiting for.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and there's going to be surprises, since you might be expecting some financial services related jobs. However, what we are focusing at the moment is mainly marketing and digital marketing related. These are the areas that we recruit and focusing at the moment due to demand, due to campaign preparations. So a few of them are not on the website yet, but I'm happy to speak about it. We've got the existing jobs. We've got some of them are around digital marketing. So for example, digital marketing manager, desktop publishing and digital assistant, very long title. That is a person that is preparing presentation pitches and very good with PowerPoint and Word. We are going to open client services manager role, which is more around sales, business development very soon. And another 1 or 2 marketing jobs should be available. I'm speaking about UK at the moment. You will see other ones. So these are examples of open jobs we have right now. But I think this is very specific to every company in terms of types of jobs. There's always a cycle where we might be looking more for marketing. There's always very often some jobs for operations, of course, finance and trading. You will definitely see more of them next year, since we run we usually run campaigns. So we will be letting everyone know about when the campaign is going to happen and sending newsletters. But answering your questions, mainly marketing now, junior and senior jobs, which is great news. And you can find them on our website under the tab careers.
Fantastic. Just, we're going to stay with this a little longer with regards to the sorts of roles that you have. Can you tell us a little more about your recruitment process? What would it be like if I were to apply, say, for one of these marketing opportunities? Can you step us through that?
The process is very similar with some changes when it comes to all of our roles. It's all digital, it's all remote. So there is no need to come to the offices. There is no need to meet us anywhere except of Teams or any other software. So we're not discriminating when it comes to software either. If someone has any issues or software issues, which happens, you can always let us know and ask us whether we could use Zoom, for example. But the process looks as follows. After submitting an application through our website or any type of job boards we're using, so you can see us on Evenbreak, of course, you can see us on Indeed, you can see us on smaller niche job boards. Sometimes if it's marketing, it could be something very marketing focused. And after receiving your application, we will always get back to you, regardless whether your application is successful or not. We get back to every single candidate. Sometimes it might not be the most personalized answer if it's at the very beginning of the process, but we will always let you know. If you're not successful, we will let you know you're not successful and encourage you to keep looking at our website and job boards. If you are successful, we will get back to you and arrange a phone call or a Teams call to have a chat about your current situation, about your motivation, why you applied, if you're still looking, because sometimes you apply for a job and then you might be within another process and you just about to get an offer. So you might not be looking after a few days. We aim to get back to everyone within 2 up to 4 days after your application. That's the standard. It happens that it takes 1 or 2 days longer, but very rarely. Second stage is usually video call with a hiring manager. So first would be meeting the recruiter, so we can tell you more about who we are, what we do, what our values are, getting back to what we've said before. And second thing would be to meet the hiring manager, to speak to the person who might be your line manager, consequently, and the interview is meant to serve 2 purposes: for the line manager to get to know the candidate, and for the candidate to understand what the culture is, what the team structure is. So I believe that is definitely two-way process, also for candidates to understand whether they really want to apply with OSTC, or maybe it's something that is not for them. We usually add some tasks, practical tasks, when we can. So there might be something that we will ask you to write. There might be some technical tests if it comes to technical jobs. We'd like you to be able to showcase your skills instead of only speaking about them. We don't look at CVs too much. I think that's something very important to mention. We use questionnaires. So we are going to ask you questions about your background instead of finding information in your CV. CVs are very often, CVs are not a reliable source of information in our opinion. For some jobs, we will pay a little bit more attention to them if they're very, very senior jobs. Usually, I have to be honest, I don't look at CVs at all, very, very rarely. I want to meet people, I want to talk to them, I want them to showcase what they can. And so that's the process more or less. There might be a final interview or another phone call where we make sure that a candidate meets someone from outside of the team to make sure we've got that diversity of interviewers covered. So meeting 3 people from HR team applying for a high job is great, but it would be nice to meet a hiring manager or someone that is not involved in HR to tell you more about how we work and who we are, to give you the best possible picture of us as a business, as an organization. So that would probably summarize most of processes we have.
Okay, thank you very much. That's a very thorough explanation. This is very radical. No CVs at all. Joking me?
Yeah, that's how we work.
Okay, no CVs. So when you post a job on Evenbreak, for example, and I see the job and I click apply, is it then the list of questions that will come up and I answer the questions?
Yes, you'll be redirected to our website first. So you'll be able to see the job description first. So before you go and click on apply, everyone can read what we're looking for. We try to be quite detailed in our adverts and job description, but not too detailed. So there will be some space to discuss questions later. But yes, then you'll be redirected to our website, and from the questions you can go to what we're really looking for. If it's on example desktop and publishing, desktop publishing and digital assistance, for this job we need really good Excel, PowerPoint and Microsoft Word skills. So we will ask you, please rate yourself on a scale. So that's a good moment where you can ask yourself a question: how good am I in terms of Microsoft Office? And if you have to answer basic, at least with few of these areas, we won't be successful in this job. But it's also it's supposed to be, because we will require these skills from day one. There is always a set of skills that can be taught and will be part of your onboarding, and set of skills that we ask you to bring in because we're going to be needing them from day one. So that questionnaire is exactly serving that purpose, for you to understand what we're looking for and for us to have a look at the answers and say, okay, we've got that. You answered yes or advanced or whatever we asked for. 2 questions that we ask you. Let's have a call, let's have a chat, and you can let us know more about your background and experience. There is always an option to submit a CV, and I don't want to say that I don't look at them at all. I do open them very often when I call people to proceed with a screening call. It's helping to move forward with the conversation, but it's never the first instance and the first method of selection that we have.
Hey, so you've heard it here, guys. There is no CV, but you can, if you want to, attach it. But Carolina is really going to be honing in on how you answer those questions. So this is really innovative. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. I may want to come back to you a little later and ask you some more questions. But before I move on, there is just one other question I want to ask you. Accommodations. If at any stage throughout your recruitment process, whether it is answering those 12 questions right through to the interview itself, candidates can ask for accommodations?
Yes, of course. There is always a space to ask for accommodations, and we believe there is no one size fits all. So we might, as much as we gain experience on what candidates might need in terms of accommodating their needs, there was always going to be something new, something more. So we do encourage letting us know. There is, when you apply, we use an applicant tracking system. There is an option, a box where you can leave a message to a recruiter, which can be anything. It could be hire me please, which some people people do, right? But I would definitely use this one to give us a few sentences about yourself, and if there is anything that you'd like us to provide to make sure that recruitment process is inclusive, that recruitment process is right for you, that we can focus on your skills and background instead of just creating burdens, please let us know. So definitely a space for that, but we need you to be proactive on that and let us know as well.
Absolutely. We do tell candidates, you've got to be your own self-advocate. You have to let those potential employers know what your needs are, because they are, everyone wants everyone to thrive really in the process and be at their best. Thank you. I will come back to you again, maybe with one or two questions. Sam, can I speak to you, please?
Of course you can, Rosa. I'm patiently waiting.
OSTC, what do you guys actually do? What is life like working there? Tell us a little bit about, give us the inside scoop. Tell us a little bit about your culture
Okay. Well, I've been asked that question a lot over the 17 years I've been working with OSTC. I started off in the same place where all of my junior traders and analysts start. Have an interview. Now it's with the wonderful Carolina in our talent acquisition. But when it was many years ago, I was with one of the founders of the business, Rob Brophy. He interviewed me. It's very, very different back then. He gave me a simple maths test under pressure, 5 minutes to do, and then asked me some questions. I got the job, and the culture is very much the same. Well, it's evolved since when I started. It's a much more inclusive environment. We're very mindful that we want to be uncovering talent wherever we can, and people that are driven and want to succeed at a high level, that are interested in financial markets. That we've all got common denominators. Everyone that works in markets, they want to succeed at a high level. They will enjoy their job, because it's a tough gig, right? You're concentrating for long hours throughout the day. Some days it's 12 hours of focusing the market. None of us mind, because we love it. I mean, that's the difference, right? So you speak about this job to a lot of people as long hours, and they go, oh my gosh, I don't like long hours. I'm like, yeah. Trust me, I've done 17 years and it's flown by. I honestly, and every day is different, and every day keeps me engaged. I'm my own strengths and values and personality. I'm very curious, and I love learning. I'm very I was a very number kind of intrigued child when I was a kid. I was very good with numbers. I won a senior maths competition when I was a junior and that sort of stuff. But I come from humble beginnings. I'm first in family at university. I was raised in a council estate. I've never had any privileges, so I've always had to work hard for what I've gained in my life. And OSTC gave me that platform. I went into the jobs market when nepotism was absolutely rife in the city. So it was about who you knew got you a job, or where you went to university got you a job. I never went to private school. I went to a terrible high school that they've knocked down now. And then I had to get my, struggle through my A-levels. None of my parents never went to university. They did start their own business though. So I have that kind of that business entrepreneurial drive, plus my numeracy. And then OSTC gave me that platform. It's an absolute meritocracy. There's none of this nepotism. There's none of this, office brown nosing, whatever, however you want to call it. It's an absolute meritocracy, which I love. You come, you perform, and everybody's happy, right? And I love that. I love that so much about our culture, is that there's a very flat hierarchy, especially in markets. We've got the coaches and we've got the traders and analysts. And the coaches want the traders to do, the analysts to do well, and the analysts and traders want to do well. It's an absolute symbiotic relationship. Sorry, go on.
It's okay.
Your questions.
You've sold me. Thank you very much for sharing that. You did say no day is the same, but can you give us just a little more insight on maybe what an average day might look like for a trader? So let's say a junior trader. Step us through so we get a sense of what that might look like.
Absolutely. Well, at the moment, I've got all my juniors. We've got a mindfulness 10 minutes to start them off. So at 8:30, they all have 10 minutes of mindfulness. That's something we've just employed for our Casios who are 9 months in. So they're going to do a bit of mindfulness there, but some of them do their preparation before our first morning call, which is at 8:40. So they'll do some preparation about the market, see if anything's happened overnight, prepare themselves. Then they've got 10 minutes to the mindfulness, to meditate or do some breathing exercises, to focus them. 8:40 is our first group call. And then we kind of have a rundown of everyone's ideas in the morning, and we gather a plan, almost a battle plan, as you were. I know it's Remembrance Day today, so it's very army themed, but a battle plan for the day, and to then employ your trading process throughout the day. So, you know, our plans are only as good as the moment we write them, because what we can't control is the market. So the market will move. So every time the market moves, we have to change our plan perhaps, and then, you know, put our process through to then execute trades. So the process is identifying a trade, executing a trade, managing a trade, and then assessing the trade and reflecting afterwards. So that constant cycle throughout the day, as many times as you can. It's all about practice, practice, practice until you succeed.
Thank you so much. That's certainly given me, and I'm sure our candidates, a little more insight, because it's quite a fascinating role. I do appreciate that. There is some questions coming in the chat, so I'm going to sort of like bounce across. This is from Julietta. Thank you, Julietta. Where can I find all the UK roles you mentioned, please? Currently on the website?
Yes.
Now.
Yes, however, we will be adding some new jobs literally within, well, if not tomorrow, then next week. So a few new opportunities will definitely come up within the next few days.
Fantastic. Caroline, I'm going to just stay with you. How do you currently support disabled candidates who are applying?
So first of all, as I've mentioned, we do have the culture of asking whether we can support anyone's, which of course, as long as we can, needs in terms of making the being able to attend interviews, using software, making sure candidate know that we can use various types of software, and we can read various types of documents. We know that sometimes it's not about the format, it's not about the software, it's about to communicate. So what we also do is to mention these things in our campaigns. So what we've done a few times already in our campaigns for traders was to add, when you see the questionnaire, we added, not instead of adding a question, we added a sentence, because not everything is obvious. Is if we need to accommodate any of your needs, if there's anything we can do to make the process easier for you for any reasons, please let us know. So what I'm planning to do in terms of what we still haven't done is to have a audit of all of our steps, to make sure to look at it from various points. And I was thinking of Evenbreak to support us with it, because what we think is right, we look at it from our point of view. We might think of various types of disabilities and thinking, oh, we've got everyone covered. We're never going to get everyone covered, and there's always going to be things that we just haven't thought about. So I would like to have an audit of every single recruitment step that we have, to make sure we haven't missed anything. The other thing is to constant trainings. So what we do, and I think that's a very, very big thing, we do train our managers on inclusive trainings. We do speak to them. We had amazing sessions with Evenbreak in the past in terms of giving managers advice on how to approach situations when someone says, I can't use camera. I need camera to be switched off. Or even when candidate says, I really feel that video interview won't be good for me. Can I answer questions you have in writing? So what to do, how to approach it? Again, the approach is, there is no one universal approach to these situations. It's always depending on the role. It always requires a certain discussion. So in terms of what we do ask. We are open, we listen. We have remote opportunities and we are flexible. So all our opportunities at the moment are hybrid or can be home-based if needed, and that's a very important thing. What we're planning to do is to keep auditing everything we do, and instead of focusing on what we know and making sure it is as inclusive as we believe it should be, is more about asking others, is it really, what would you change? Asking for feedback is crucial when it comes to improvements. So that's
okay.
that's
I know I know many of our candidates are going to want to ask this question. So do you have any tips for candidates who are wanting to apply, say, for some of those existing roles right now? So what tips can you give them?
Yes, so I would be as descriptive as you can. Doesn't matter if it's CV or your application where you can write something about yourself, but as we try to put ourselves in shoes of candidates when it comes to being inclusive, when it comes to open recruitment process. I encourage you to do the opposite. Imagine you are a recruiter and you sit on the other side of computer laptop screen and you receive an application from you. What am I going to see? Because you know how much you are worth. You know that you're good for this job. How can I see it after looking at your application? What can you do? Have you utilized that small box when we say send a message to recruiter? If you're sending CV, have you reviewed it? Have you made sure it's accurate? Don't be scared of gaps. Life is full of gaps and our CVs are full of gaps. If you are going to be rejected because of gaps in your recruitment, in your experience, you don't want to be in that organization. People should call you and ask you questions, which are absolutely valid. If I ask you what have you, well, after leaving that job, what happened, then just let us know. But if we shouldn't ever be afraid of it. And if you feel you want to explain a gap in your experience, that could be maternity, sick leave, or just traveling, or just getting to know, or being around the world, whatever reason that was, don't be scared to write it, whether in your profile, in your resume, or just send a message to the recruiter. Because again, I believe if someone wouldn't like to speak to you because of your gaps, because of breaks you did for any reasons, I don't think you want to be in that type of an organization. So be descriptive, share as much as possible, and try to put yourself in shoes of someone on the other side of the screen.
These are great tips. These are excellent tips. Firstly, I just want to say thank you very much for being very elegant in the way that you understand and embrace the fact that life's not necessarily linear, and it's okay if we have gaps. Let's have that conversation about it. It's fantastic that you're saying that. I do want to move on to back to FISO now, if I can. What are some of the ways that OSTC is working to become a much more inclusive workplace? Share with us what strategies, initiatives you're putting in place.
That's a really good question, Rosa. Loads, and it's continuously ongoing. We have implemented a lot of initiatives so far, which include partnering with, yourself, Evenbreak, the City Mental Health Alliance, Stonewall, expert organizations really, that are supporting us in shaping and driving our change. We've also adapted our approach, as you've heard from Carolina, to our talent acquisition process and making it more inclusive, working closely with research organizations such as Harvard to actually make sure that when it comes to the assessment process, that the biases perhaps that sit within that or barriers are completely removed. We have continuous educational campaigns raising awareness to subject matter such as mental health, racism and its impact, LGBTQ inclusion in the workplace, and so on. And that is continuous. We take our people, along on a journey. Line managers have to be aware and understand and be comfortable and confident in sort of addressing matters as they come along. So the educational side of our initiative really is a continuous one that we keep adding to and adapting. We've also reviewed our policies and ensured that they're fit for purpose. And in the process, we've created new ones where we have had gaps before. So for example, we have new policies on well-being, transitioning at work, and just about to launch our disability policy as well. We have from an employee resource group, we actually have 2 network groups that are thriving. They were created this year. One specifically to do with diversity and inclusion matters, the other one to do with well-being matters. I co-chair both of them, and they're made up of colleagues across the business from different functions that come together. They're representatives and they're the voice of the people. And we meet regularly and sort of inform and advise the executive really on sort of process improvements and any type of cultural change they might wish to see implemented in the workplace. And some of their recent successes, include our recently approved employee benefits package that has just been updated to a higher standards than what it was before, thanks to the network group. And another one is a wellbeing charter that we're going to be rolling out soon as well, which will be protecting our employees' work-life balance better. And within the D&I network group in particular, we have actually a subgroup that focuses solely on disability matters, which actually Sam incidentally leads. And they have objectives and ambitions to make OSTC a more disabled friendly organization. So it's a continuous thing. The list is extensive, but it gives you a flavor really in terms of touch points and areas that we've explored and implemented things.
I think the continuous improvement is so vital, because this is fluid, right? This is something that is continuous, that can always be improved upon. Can I ask you, of all of the initiatives or the programs that you've been working on in this particular space, what are you most proudest of?
Ooh. Wow, that's a very, very, very $1 million question. I would say it would be the employee network groups, because diversity and inclusion or any kind of organizational change that really requires people, the human capital, changing and adapting, can't be done with one person. I'm the agent of change. That's all I am. But actually, to change culture and to make it a better place, a working environment for all, it requires the whole village. It requires the whole company, every single individual. So to be in a position in less than in 18 months for us to have robust, thriving employee network groups, people that are passionate, they're doing this because they care, because they feel it's something that's actually, outside of just themselves. It's a collective effort for people to show up, to put in the effort, to work together, to come to a solution, to influence change in a company. It's what inclusion is all about, and I think that's what I'm most proud of, definitely.
Okay. That leads us nicely back to Sam. Sam, can you tell us a little bit more about why you started the disability community at OSTC?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't hold my hand up and say I started it. We've got our agent of change. I like that, Faiza. As in Faiza Tahir, she came to us as a guiding light. There was myself and many of the board as well. I mean, like I said, I've been here a long time. But you've got to think it's down to like what life's about and what's our purpose and what we do. We're focused at OSTC on trading. It's a numbers game. We're trying to beat the market. It's very extrinsic. We've got set. It's black and white, positive or negative. You make money or you don't, right? You try and make as much money as you can, and then this changes your life essentially. Extrinsic, fully extrinsic. It's about goods and services, etc. Not very good. So it's okay for the soul, but there was a big need for us to do better. We were always doing things for charity, but I think there was a need for this company to be a little bit more intrinsic. And this, for me, is what adds kind of that value to what we're doing. We want to do more for society. It's our societal obligation. It's our moral obligation. You know, we're not like a vampire squid, as Goldman Sachs has been described, right? We're a small company. We're trying to navigate in a big world, and we've grown based on our values, our work ethic, the fact that we've not looked in the regular places. We've not looked at Russell Group for the same sort of individuals. We are a diverse company. We've got offices all over the world. You know, very, very strong Polish presence, India, China, Russia, all over the UK, Wales, of all places, but a very big footprint in Wales. And so we're very diverse, and we've got a lot of good in us. And this is just more letting our good shine out internally and externally as well, and being open. And we know that we are a diverse company. Our success comes from that diversity. How can we be more welcoming? How can we be more diverse? We believe, like we say, our vision, we can teach anyone anywhere to trade. So there's that side of me. It's the intrinsic side. Plus, personally, my daughter's got autism. So from that perspective, as a father, I want her to have the best opportunities in life. And I practice what I preach, and what I think the world should be, I will happily virtue signal and do that myself. So I've had that added bonus as well.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. Can I stay with you a little longer and ask you to share some insight into your disability community there at OSTC? What happens within this group or this forum? To take us through that, step us, you know, the importance of the disability community group within your organisation.
I think it's after speaking to Mohammed, your colleague, and our first touch point as our committee in the disability committee, we were chatting, and it was the disability confidence, the confidence to speak about disabilities, being able-minded, bodied, and realizing that you want to remove all those stigmas and be accepting, right? So first of all is being confident you can speak about disability and how you're trying to make things better, and you want to be more inclusive. First of all, having that confidence and then reverberating that around, and that comes from Pfizer and talking about it. Myself and other managers and heads of departments just talking. Well, let's just start talking about it for a start, right? Let's not be afraid to discuss this, to then tackle it, to find. I mean, we as leaders and managers love the term low-hanging fruit. Okay, let's find those problems. How can we make it better? Well, what's the easiest first? And let's find as many of those as we can, and then until we can tackle, and hopefully then tackle all the bigger issues to make us completely inclusive, you know? And DWI has kind of crossed that barrier, a huge amount of things, because now people can be comfortable in their own homes. There's no commute they have to worry about. You know, you can work all day, and if you're feeling uncomfortable, you can have your camera off, as long as you're able to communicate, verbalize, and then you can be in your zone. You can be in your zone, in your house, and comfort your own zone, home.
Fantastic. I'm curious to get an insight into what you think, or what you would like to see the disability community within your organisation go on to do. What's your hopes and aspirations for it?
Just that, I suppose it's hard to measure that anyone with any sort of disability is confident that they can apply and know they've got a chance of getting that role, and it's purely based on their competency and nothing else, and nothing else, just the ability to do the job. That's all. And that's where I want us to be as OSTC, that we're completely inclusive and open to anyone.
Yeah, I do like that. It seems quite simplistic, but you know, it's true, really, isn't it? You just want it to be based on that person's ability to do that job and the competencies that are needed, nothing else. So I really do appreciate everyone's time today. It's been a very fascinating journey. I've certainly enjoyed it. I've learned so much from the radical way in which you will look at a CV, but it's not the thing that's the most important. It's how they answer those questions. And also your disability community and the wonderful work that you're doing in disability inclusion. So thank you all very much. There are more questions here, so I'm going to just nip across to the chat box and read them out, if that's okay with everyone. Okay, we've had someone say, that's nice, the mindfulness sessions. So that's been of interest to quite a lot of candidates. I don't think that they were expecting maybe a training organisation to have mindfulness sessions first thing in the morning. So that certainly opened up a few people's eyes. Here's an interesting one. And this is from Samuel. Samuel, thank you for sending this in. Are there jobs open to people in Africa? We know that you're global, so Carolina, I'll let you.
We are global, but at the moment we don't have jobs in Africa locally, just purely from the same reasons. We do advertise jobs in each country that we operate. We do try, if we can, if it's not something very, very country specific. For example, we're looking for Polish employment law specialists. We do advertise jobs in various locations so that people can apply, and we choose a person that is best suited for the job. However, we don't have jobs in Africa. You never know, maybe in the future, so please keep following us.
Okay, check out the Evenbreak site too. They might pop up there shortly.
Absolutely. If we do, there will be definitely visible on Evenbreak.
Absolutely. Okay, this is from Lee. Lee is asking, if I think I have the right skills to do the work, but don't have any relevant qualifications in markets or trading, can I still apply? Carolina, let's start with you.
It depends on the role. Sometimes there are, and please bear in mind that we are a regulated financial services business, so sometimes we have to be boring and get back to certain qualifications that we are obliged to prove that our more senior, for example, employees have. There are certain regulations that we have to work with. There are very specific occupations where we really have to look at it. Many roles are not like that. So my answer to it, first of all, is it depends on the role. You will always find it in the job description. If you see that what we're looking for is mainly soft skills, experiences with certain, I don't know, for example, software, but you might have gained it in your personal life, that's fine. So what we need to know, if that is the only requirements that you see on the list, please let us know where you've gained them. So if it's something that you've learned on your own, write it on your either CV or let us know. The recruitment team, hi, I know ABCD, I've learned it on my own, I've learned it by going to internet trainings, etc. We just need to know, because again, I'm getting back to what I said before, I need to find it somewhere. So without you letting me know somehow about your skills, they don't need to be in, for some of the jobs, a very formal experience. For some of them they do, but the most important thing is to let us know somehow. For our junior trading jobs, something that I really want to stress, we don't want you to bring certain experience. We want you to understand what the job is all about. However, of course, to have certain skills, because we say everyone everywhere, but everyone everywhere, everyone knows that we can't do all of the jobs in the world. None of us. I have a list of jobs I could possibly do, and definitely a long list of jobs that I won't be able to do because either I'm missing on numerical skills or analytical skills, etc. So for trading jobs, for junior trading jobs, please have a look at our job description. Think about, do I have these skills? If you're not sure, I would always advise, do apply, because we're going to give you a few tests. But yes, if there are informal qualifications, if there are certain skills that you've gained in an informal way, just let us know about it and do try. It's always worth trying. The worst thing that can happen is that we're going to get back to you and say, not this time, please keep applying, maybe for other job if these skills are not right for the job, but just go for it. It's always worth it.
On the assessments, can accommodations be given if somebody needs extra time, or unkind?
Yes, absolutely. We had these situations, people ask us for extra time in various exercises. Sometimes it's possible to kind of stop the time or give some, so that depending on an exercise. In general, please let us know. Depending on an exercise, we are going to have a look and see how can we accommodate your need. And if it's extra time, we can do it. If the exercise doesn't allow us to give extra time. What we've done before within some exercises, again stressing that it's a very, very individual case, we allowed candidates to proceed with an exercise once again. Of course, we need to know it first. I think the golden rule is you need to let us know first. It doesn't work after the failed exercise. So if the exercise doesn't go well, we've had many situations that people said the software or it was too fast, or it's very hard for us then to review it backwards. So please let us know. Don't be shy. Let us know anything that you need us to accommodate. We will do our best. However, we need to know beforehand, before you approach an exercise. That's very, very important.
Absolutely. I think one of the big key messages here is read that job description, understand what's been looked for, asked for in that job description. You know, read it carefully, put on your recruiter's hat, right? Assess yourself. Do I meet the selection criteria here? And then if you feel you do, you know, put on your application hat and make that application. Another question from Lee. Thanks, Lee, for sending this in again. He actually sent in a previous question. I don't have much experience. Are there any apprenticeship or scholarship type of programs that I could start out with?
Very good question, because we are planning to launch some. We are working on it right now, so please bear with us. We think nowadays there are a lot of jobs where hands-on experience is definitely much more important than any type of education, any type of formal skills. However, looking for it is one thing. We can also teach you certain things so that you can learn you can have your first experiences at OSTC. So what we're planning to do, we're planning to launch internship schemes. I don't want to share too many details because I don't want to promise things. I'm not sure when it's going to start. That's one thing that is not confirmed yet. We definitely think of launching internships within IT, within HR as well, and there might be some other areas like finance and operations, where very junior candidates, and when I say junior, I don't mean age, I mean skills, can join us and just learn with us, which could be a door opener for jobs somewhere else if you wouldn't have an opportunity, or jobs with us in the future. This is how it goes with internships. So the answer is we don't have it yet, but we are planning to start very, very soon.
Fabulous. So watch the space.
Exactly.
Okay. We have another question. So this is certainly, there's lots of questions being asked here. So people are intrigued. Is there flexible working available to fit around my healthcare needs? Now, I know that might come across as quite broad because, you know, we would need to know what your healthcare needs are, right? But Carolina, again, I'm going to come back to you because you'd be the best person to answer this, I think. So is there flexible working available to fit around my healthcare needs?
There is flexible working, absolutely. Again, depending on the job, but yes, it is. We've got loads of examples. We've got people that are working 4 days, not 5 days a week. We've got people that are starting later, finishing earlier. So absolutely, there is. Again, it's a very individual case, but I've seen many cases of already existing employees. Bear in mind that trading, the flexible working options are limited, but I am speaking about OSTC as a whole, as an organization. With trading, it might be quite tricky. In terms of starting, finishing times, there is some flexibility, but not too much. With other jobs, there's definitely more. So the answer is yes, depending on the job.
Okay, one final question. And all of you, I'll give you all to answer this. Why would our candidates with disabilities want to work for OSTC? I'm going to start with Sam.
Why would candidates with disability want to work for OSTC?
Why would we want to apply? Why would we want to
Why? Well, I'd say you'd want to, for my department certainly, become a trader, work in the financial markets. You'd want to succeed. To try and beat the monks, you'd have to have that competitive element of your own personality. and that kind of that curiosity to keep you driving, that the resilience we've already spoken about, which is one of our core values, resilient spirit. It's like you suggested earlier, our audience has probably had their fair share of resilience tested and their grit and determination tested to get where they are today. So already they have values and skill sets and competencies that would fit in with our values and our kind of core OSTC, I suppose.
Yeah. Why do you stay there? Why do you love working at OSTC yourself, Sam? I
suppose because it was a fintech startup before fintech even was a name. That the company was formed by accident. It used to be trading on the physical floor, and there was so many barriers to entry. It was more nepotism than you could shake a stick at. It was generally if you met a guy down the pub and you shook his hand and he got to like you, he'd give you a job and that sort of thing, and then he succeeds as a trader, and then that closed down for the inventor of technology. Technology has been the biggest leveler, and it's continued to be in the future than we'll ever see. So that's taken an inclusive, a very hard to break into industry online. So the traders on the floor did not. There's stories of people that were picking up mouses trying to speak into them as soon as they had to go into an office. These genuine stories. So it's an absolute level. So open it up to everyone around the world. So OSTC developed that, and now it's fully inclusive. You can do it from your own home.
Fantastic, thank you, Faiza. Why would Evenbreak candidates want to apply to, or even want to work with OSTC?
Well, if they wish to join a company that is on the precipice of rapid growth, quite ambitious, with diverse mix of people from all walks of life, I think OSTC is the place to be. Our continuous hunger for change, you have leadership that are completely bought into the inclusive culture. They lead from the front. They demonstrate those values. They appreciate their people. Anybody coming in, especially coming in as an entry level, it's perhaps your first job. You want to learn, to grow, to build confidence and competence. OSTC is the right place to be, because actually it's a flat structure when it comes to the organizational structure. You get to know people quickly. Leadership, I'd literally a stone throw away. If you're good at your job and you're successful, you get the rewards, the recognition, the support needed. And it's just an all-round lovely place to be, because actually what we tend to find is, if we don't talk about cultural fit, we talk about cultural add. So somebody different coming in and adding to them, that melting pot of diversity. We don't want somebody that's of the same ilk as us, because actually there's so many of us already. We want somebody that's different, that's going to come and actually make us even more unique. And if you're that way inclined in terms of actually that change, that sustainable change that's continuous and it doesn't scare you, then really it is one of the best places to be. I mean, I've worked in financial sector for best part of 15-16 years before coming to OSTC last year, and it's hands down the best place I've ever worked in, really.
Thank you. So hit that apply button, guys. Carolina, I'm going to finish with you.
So as a third person, of course, to add to all, I agree with everything that Sam and Faiza said. The reason in my eyes would be that at OSTC, not only throughout the recruitment process, but of course, which is even more important after that, we are going to look at you, your colleagues will look at you, and recruiters, managers will look at you from lens of your skills, your cultural add, your personality instead of anything else. Not. It doesn't matter how you look, how how old are you, and we can have a whole long list of things that really doesn't matter. So this is, I believe, in within any type of professional area, this is how we want others to look at us, from basing on what we can do, what we like to do, how are we implementing to the company success, and that's the only and most important thing that we look at. Sometimes people, what we sometimes probably emphasize too much is that everyone can come to us. Of course, everyone can come to us. You need to bring your skills in. So think about your skills, and the rest is not important. And I think that's one of the main reasons.
Fantastic. Our time is up, and we are spot on at 3 o'clock. I wanted to thank you all very much for joining myself and Evenbreak today. It's certainly been very, very insightful, and I've thoroughly enjoyed the session. I hope that you all have too. It looks like all of our candidates have, because the questions just weren't stopping there. They were just and so thank you very much for your time. To everyone else out there, don't forget to check our Hive, because there's lots of other cool webinars coming up, other Meet the Employers, and also there are some positive psychology sessions coming up, and we'll also be looking at a little bit of neurodiversity in terms of dyslexia in the coming weeks. So if you get a chance, please check out the Hive, and don't forget to register for our future events. Thank you very much, OSTC, for joining us today.
Thank you, Rosa.
Thank you, everyone, for joining.
Thanks, everyone.
Anytime, thank you. I look forward to those positive psychology modules.
Okay, thank you very much, Sam. All the best. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.